See here? J. Edgar Hoover, FBI Director, 1956. The individual is handicapped by coming face to face with a conspiracy so monstrous they cannot believe it exists. The American mind simply has not come to a realization of the evil which has been introduced into our midst. There's the link. And that is so very true. And you possibly don't realize how true that is unless you've been called nuts for what you have to say. Your very truth. You know, with tears streaming down your face, perhaps, and your heart pounding so hard it's in your throat. And you're telling people what is, and it just sounds so monstrous that they can't believe it exists. So maybe that's why evil gets so many wins over good, is that it's just too hard to believe. Okay, I know this is pretty creepy reading here from the Institute for Study of Globalization and Covert Politics. And I hope I'm speaking up clearly enough, because I know that's been an issue. Alright, this here, Dutroux, however you pronounce it in French, his wife is supposed to be getting paroled here pretty soon. And she was in on it. That's why she was in prison. And this is creepy reading, okay? Here's this guy here. Belgium's biggest secret. Well, he was the biggest secret up until that one that kept his daughter and kids that he fathered with his own daughter. Fritz Meyer or something like that. Okay. He was a pretty big dude here until that one. Kept her in there all their entire lives. And made her even dig her own torture chamber. Can you imagine? I can't imagine. I mean, my heart just goes out to these kind of people. And even if it's not that severe, it gives me a twinge, you know? An unhealthy kind of, what can you do? That kind of thing. So, and I don't mean to sound horrible about it, but it is horrible. And so I brought you here to this. This goes back to 96 from The Guardian, another source I pretty much trust. True scandal of the child abusers. You know, just very, very freaky. Failure not to catch Dutroux. Trying to figure out how to actually pronounce that. And I'm not going to give any opinion on that. And I really don't know if Gunderson was in on this one. The only way I know to find out is Control F and type Gunderson, but 000, see? Over here. But Gunderson, some people seem to think that he was not what he's led on to be either. And I have read this at a different point. I just came back to it because I wanted to put it on here for you, whoever you are. Victims and Witnesses Appendix. We'll go there. Whole slew of them. They want to let his wife out? Good gravy. Please don't let his wife out if she's gonna, Just so many of them, and I just can't understand it. Maybe I'm just hoping someone will help me understand it. That you could get on here and get on this Screencast-O-Matic free online screen recording thing and screencast me an explanation. An explanation is what I need. So let's see if I can find Dutroux on here. Maybe her name's not that though. Just copy that and then go back to over here in my Facebook and use the find function. And it says no. But see what could have happened. That is, oh, that's the wrong word anyway. Dossier's not on there. What am I thinking? Could have put it as a comment and then it just gets hidden. I mean, it's there. You have to push a little button that says show more comments and then maybe it'll fall out of there, right? Okay, it's on here twice. Oh, right there. I was looking right at it. See here? Pedophile child killer may be released in Belgium. So you have to push this button here to get more of them to fall out. The name Dutroux is mentioned 46 times in this article. And then the name Dutroux is mentioned 17 times in this article. So you see, it's not like an unknown name. Demonstrations have been held in Belgium to protest the release of the ex-wife killer, Marc Dutroux. Okay, yeah, her name's not Dutroux. Her name is Michelle Martin. See? Belgians mean business. Look at this. They mean some business. They don't want this killer or his wife out.
At Bookit.com, we think booking travel should be fun.
On a summer Sunday afternoon, they gathered as one, united in their opposition to the decision to release Michel Martin. The white balloons, a symbol of hope. Hope that these terrible crimes should never be repeated. On the stage, the father of one of Dutroux's young victims. His family, he says, is now a victim of Belgium's judicial system.
For us, it's very premature. Let's not forget this woman let 4 children die and raped and kidnapped another 10 children. So the facts are quite serious, and for that reason, she should still be in prison.
The former wife and accomplice of Marc Dutroux, Belgium's notorious serial child killer, Michel Martin, was found guilty of complicity in helping her husband in the kidnapping of 6 young girls. They were locked up in a specially constructed underground dungeon at their home. 2 of the girls were murdered, 2 were found alive, and 2 starved to death, dying of neglect while Martin was in the house, and her husband in prison on charges of car theft. Police investigating the missing girls were accused of negligence and incompetence, failing to find 2 of the girls when they searched Dutroux's home. Michel Martin served 16 years of a 30-year sentence here at Berkendael prison in Brussels. Such was the feeling of outrage she was forced to wear a bulletproof vest during court appearances. 3 weeks ago, Belgium's sentencing court ruled that she was eligible for parole and qualified for early release. She's due to enter the Clarice convent, 60 miles southwest of Brussels at Malone. Thousands of local residents demonstrated outside the convent when the decision to release her was announced. And there is predictable but deep-seated anger and outrage over the court ruling.
I think this march is not just for the children themselves, it's really about the justice system. People have been sentenced to a certain sentence and they can get out of jail basically 1/3 of the punishment, which is still very, very short for most of the people. It's still very recent, it's still in the minds of people, and that's what's hurting.
At Belgium's Court of Last Appeal, the prosecutor and relatives of the victims will be seeking to overturn the decision to release Michel Martin. They've been given 30 days to present their case. If they fail in their appeal, and we'll know the answer to that at the end of the week, then Michel Martin will be taken from her prison cell and handed into the care of the nuns of the convent. For these people here, her crimes were of such enormity that this judicial ruling will simply be unacceptable. Peter Sharp, Al Jazeera in Brussels.
See, the survivor, Elizabeth, kicks out mom. Well, good going. And see, this Fritzl was supposedly such a fine, upstanding citizen. You know? Nobody would have guessed that he was such a monster, you know, but he was. And some of the kids even died in that torture chamber. At least one did. See, drugged her and held her captive for 24 years. Monstrous impulses on his own daughter. See, this kind of guy here does not compare to anybody that I've ever heard of. Well, at least not in this time of, you know, last couple of decades. I mean, to say someone raped someone 2,100 times, but bothering to get the DNA to prove it is two different things. And with no prior, but end up convicted as a repeat offender, that's a whole nother stupid thing. I mean, who would have guessed that this town could have so many stupidities against them? Totally ludicrous. If there's rape, there's DNA. You know, I don't care. Besides that, what were they thinking? They're supposed to serve me too and my family. Why wouldn't they at least try to say, well, get her son to shut her up so she won't be still bawling and screaming and kicking dust about this for the next 100 years. Give her some closure. How about it, yeah? What would a rape kit cost them? Hello? I just can't make my mind do what they think I ought to do with my mind. My mind won't wrap around it. It's easier to wrap my brain around stuff like this for some reason. The horribly monstrous. Just like back here in the email where I showed you that one a little bit ago about the crimes being so monstrous. Truman's quote at the beginning. So you don't need to be telling me that these things are not real and are not, do you get what I mean? It's in your head that you say it's in my head. You can't measure what's in my brain. There's no way to measure what is being called a chemical imbalance. There's no measurements. It's not in my head. I'm not chemically imbalanced, therefore believing stuff that's not true. It's true. I find news articles about it, not only text, but news clips. So it's in your head. It's in your head that you think it's in my head. Okay? Thank you.